Today's update is going to be a little slideshow because I just figured out that I can record my screen on my computer whilst recording audio. So I just want to figure out if that's interesting or not. And so this is my DeviantArt page. And so I'm just going to go through some of my photos that I took ages ago because in a former life I was quite a avid photographer. So this is a weird structure. There's a better word for it. What's an art? Anyway, whatever. In my hometown, in Woden, and it's made of steel or some kind of metal, so it reflects the sun quite awfully sometimes, and people have graffitied it, so over time it's just gotten dodgier and dodgier, but I really liked it at that stage. This was a cat that we saw in New Zealand when my band was on tour, and I was just fascinated by it because we would see it all over our hotel. This is my best friend Evan on that tour. This is a big tower in New Zealand. And then I was experimenting with black and white films for a while. And so this is Caleb, one of my older friends. I haven't seen him in years. Yep, more black and white. Then this is in the centre of my hometown, Canberra. It's the theatre centre. And I was experimenting with infrared photography. So as you can see, the trees look really cool. And then because it was windy on that day and it was like long exposure, the water in front is moving as well. Boring, boring. That's Jonna at my old house. And then we started experimenting with light paints too. So out in Sutton at a friend's house, I think there was 3 of us with sparklers, and we just tried to highlight certain areas of the playground. That was pretty fun at the time. This is a cemetery. I went through a period of really liking photographing cemeteries because of the infrared factor as well, because the actual graves don't move, but the trees come alive. This is when I used to be on radio, and my co-host and co-workers, one of my ultra-wide lenses would make foreheads look hilarious, so I used to take a lot of that. This is Canberra too. We have a TV tower up top left, and the focusing wasn't great at this, but I was experimenting with coloring too, because you can tell digital cameras to pick up whites when it's actually greens, but then with an infrared filter on it you would have to tell it other stuff, so I was just experimenting with blues and reds. Simon, Evan, my brother Peter showing his beautiful chins. I've forgotten this guy's name. I was also a wedding photographer for a while, so this is one of our friends' weddings. Weddings, light paints. And then I used to attempt photo shoots with people. And so this was my friend Mikey, and we went to a few different places, but I was fascinated with railway lines at the time. And so this was really fun with him. This is one of my friends, Luke, and his band. I think they were called The Red Line Is Them back then, but now they're called Like Foxes, and you should look them up because they're amazing. Like Foxes. This is Petey Core. He was the guitarist lead singer of a band called Condorcet, and I got to shoot them 3 or 4 times on film, and I experimented a ton with pushing 3200 film to 128,000 ISO. And then with double exposure, which I think is somewhere here. This was the night that I pushed it to 128,000. This is a band that I only saw once, and they were a hardcore band, and they were great. Canberra, Suze, Jono and Luke. I'm looking for a specific... Oh yeah, this is the wedding that I shot on a plastic camera with slide film that I processed with normal negative filming. So I didn't know how the colours would come out, but they came out really nice. Mark, my brother-in-law, weddings, some hardcore band that was like 2-piece. I don't remember where this was, but it was a cozy night. A bus, a baby. Oh yeah, I did some weird stuff with that baby. Henry, some party we were at. Oh yeah, this is where I'm getting. And then I started experimenting with off-camera flash, and one of my friends, Will, let me come with him when he was riding bikes, and that was awesome. We went to a few different places in Canberra, and the off-camera flash was so fun to play with. And then we did some more light painting in our backyard with the off-camera flash as well, which is fun. That's Harley in our backyard. We did a lot of fires in that backyard, so much so that the owner did not recognise his own backyard when he came back after 4.5 years.